Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We are picking up right where we left off. It is now Friday morning.
Oh, I get a long rest?
You get a long rest.
Wee. I love those. Wish
That's
I could
good.
have those in real life.
Me too. Um, as you awaken, the thoughts of what happened in your dreams last night maybe stir you up a little bit.
hmm
Roll me a wisdom save.
Okay.
The DC is not super high, as you had a coherent conversation with Lily afterward.
Sure, but I didn't do very well.
That is a failure.
Yeah.
You are exhausted.
God damn it. Okay.
But
Exhaustion level one.
that is the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But as
hmm
you awaken, what do you do?
Oh no, I wanted a skirmish today. You know what? I have two inspirations. I'm gonna use one to see if I can not be nerfed in this fight. Oh, 14.
That is successful. You are
Okay,
not
then I'm
exhausted.
not exhausted. Yay! All right, because I have a skirmish today and I don't really want to lose because of that.
Okay. Uh, so, what are you doing?
I'm gonna get breakfast and a clava because I'm gonna kick some ass or get my ass kicked.
Let me roll. Okay, so you get yourself a cup of clava and you eat breakfast. Breakfast is fairly hearty, nothing profound, but you do gain 6 temporary hit points.
All right, I'll take it.
So, after breakfast, you head your way on up to the wizarding classroom.
Mhm.
As you arrive, you are surprised to see there is Tabernac in human form at the pedestal. You see Halliwell and Callie are both at the table, preparing for the day. But there is a familiar face over by Tabernac at the pedestal. The towering form of green half-orc, Anscombe, is talking to Tabernac when you enter.
Uh-huh. She would blink in surprise and then wave.
Um, you see that when he turns and looks at you, his right arm is full of scrolls and a tome. And he would say, "Oh, hey, hey there.
Hey, what's this?
Um, and you see he's like trying to find his words. And Tabernac says, Mr. Frost here has expressed an interest in the path of the Eldritch Knight. And so,
Really?
yes. And so, I am happy to provide him with the materials he needs.
Lorna looks fucking giddy. You're interested in magic?
His kind of sage green face darkens into almost like a forest green, and he says, yeah, yeah, I am. It looks real useful, and I was saying I was tired of just being a sword, if you recall.
Do you want to study together, work together?
I was hoping yeah, I do. I was gonna ask. I would like that a lot.
I would too. I'm really excited.
You see, he kind of sheepishly looks down at the scrolls and the tome that Tabernac has handed him. And you see Tabernac in his, like, kind of middle-aged human form just kind of leans forward, resting his chin on his hands. And he says, well, the best way to learn is to teach. So, Lorna, why don't you, this morning, walk Anscombe here through the basics?
I would love to.
Anscombe kind of looks at you and back to Tabernac, and he says, right now? And Tabernac just says, yes, why not? I, oh, I'll have to tell Illarad. And Tabernac just kind of points. And then he says, he already knows. All right. You see Anscombe looks very shy and
No
sheepish.
time like the present.
How do we get... All right, how do we get started?
Oh, Lorna would sit down at her normal place and pat the seat beside her.
Okay, he would sit next to you.
You're gonna crack open some books, learn some magics.
Okay.
She's gonna be an Eldritch Knight. I love that.
You're going to try and teach him some magics and magic-y stuff. First things first, roll me an insight check.
Okay. 18.
So, Anscombe's nervous.
Oh, baby.
He feels out of place. He's worried about messing up. He's worried that you might think he's silly. And you see that some of the scrolls he's set down are clearly spells that Tabernac kind of set aside for him.
Seated.
Yeah. You see that there are a couple cantrips and a few first level spells. And you see the tome that is, well, the nature of every wizard. But you also see that Tabernac, which you didn't notice it right away, but as Anscombe sat down and like dropped all the things, there is a small pouch of Banasite.
Mm-hmm. Do I have an idea what that's going to be used for?
Why don't you roll me an Arcana check to see how much you know about Eldritch Knights?
Okay. Nothing. I rolled a 2. That's a 9 total.
Okay, yeah, you have no idea what that's
You
for.
can fight with magic? Okay, well, we're gonna bypass that, and noting how nervous he is, I think Lorna would lean in and kind of lower her voice because it's quiet in here and say, I can see you feel a little overwhelmed because this is new, but
yeah, a bit.
I think you're gonna do great, and I know you're smart.
Roll me a persuasion to try and calm him down a little bit.
Yeah, a 25.
You see he kind of takes a deep breath and his shoulders drop a little from up near his ears. And he says, thanks, Lorna.
Yeah, we'll take it slow. We'll explain everything. And I'm just really happy that you're working with me right now.
I'm glad to be here. I thought Illarad was going to laugh at me when I said that's what I wanted to do, and he just sent me up here without a second thought. So
It's a completely valid fighting style, as she thinks. Doesn't actually know anything about it, but she's not going to admit that.
I hope you're right. I think it will be. And he kind of like, he's still wearing his gauntlets and full plate, and he opens up the scrolls to show you what he's kind of picked out, and opening and manipulating scrolls and such with these heavy gauntlets on is like very difficult. And finally he's like, hold on,
do you want to take do you need some help?
just the gauntlets, let me. And he does take the gloves off, and you see his fingers and hands, they're covered in scars.
Oh. Old ones, I'm imagining?
Yes, very old ones. And he gestures to the scrolls, and you see that he has laid out scrolls of Firebolt and Mold Earth, and then scrolls of Color Spray, Expeditious Retreat, and Shield.
Great choices.
I saw this one. We had some problems with cover, and I thought it would be real good if I knew how to do this. He's pointing at Mold Earth. And he said, and he's like thumbing over to Tabernac, that these spells, I don't have to be real proficient to use them effectively, so I thought it'd be a good start.
It's a great place to start. let's get to it.
Okay, so to teach Anscombe, firstly, how to inscribe these spells into his tome, you are going to need to give me a couple rolls here.
Baby's first spell book.
The first roll you have to give me is Persuasion. And this is
Okay.
just basically a charisma roll to see how well you get the points across that he needs to learn.
Oh, I'm gonna. God damn it! I'm gonna my last inspiration on that one.
Are you
'Cause
sure?
It's a natural one.
All right.
That sucks.
Roll it.
Ah, it was almost a 1 again. I almost peed myself. 19 plus 7, 26.
With a 26, you're good at communicating. And Anscombe is somebody that you trust. So you're not having a hard time kind of getting on his level and getting the information to him smoothly. All right. Now roll me an Arcana check.
The rest of the rolls are okay. 17.
With a 17 over this morning, up until basically noon, you spend it breaking down the important parts of inscribing in the tomb, and you notice a few things about Anscombe. He has a knack for this. He's not a genius, but he is intelligent. He seems to grasp the mechanics of somatic components pretty well. While it's obvious to you, his intellect score is probably not a 20, but it's above a 15. He clearly has a grasp on how the spells work and how he can use them. And as he's inscribing it in the tome, his handwriting, at first, it does seem blocky, whereas yours is extremely neat and precise. While Anscombe doesn't have a noble's training, his handwriting is very legible, and all of his letters are extremely well defined. And that's really all that matters in a spellbook, is that it be easy enough for a wizard to prepare and cast spells from. By noon, Anscombe has the cantrips inscribed into his new spellbook. And then Tabernac approaches, and he says, "You two have been doing extremely well, but there is the nature of the spellbinding of your weapon, Mr. Frost." And Anscombe looks at Tabernac and then at you.
Lorna just says, I don't know anything about weapons. This is his jurisdiction now.
Lorna, would you like to spectate, or do you have other things you intend to do?
I would happily spectate.
Very well. Callie, Halliwell, you all might as well watch as well. And the other two wizards were deep in their own researches, and then they both look up and they're like, Callie's like, "What? What are we doing?" And
Anscombe's doing something with a weapon.
oh,
Yeah,
all
exciting,
right.
right?
And all four of you kind of make your way down the stairs toward Tabernac's stage. And Tabernac does something you've never seen him do before. In human form, he reaches down to the stage, and he presses his fingertips into the wooden lip on the other side of it. And the whole thing flips up, and the stage slams up into the wall, and you are looking at a huge stone pit in the middle that is lined with all sorts of these. They almost look like river rocks, but each one has a different rune on it, a different arcane symbol, and you immediately recognize different ones for fire, acid, air, wind, combination, life, death. It's like every element to magic you've ever seen, just in a huge ball pit underneath the stage.
How have I not seen this before?
I haven't had to spellbind any weapons.
Okay, this is amazing.
And you watch as Tabernac gestures to Anscombe to approach, and he says, "Do you have a weapon ready for you to soulbind to yourself?" And Anscombe kind of sheepishly looks over his shoulder at the greatsword that's on his back, and he says, I have this. Tabernac says, right. If you find a better one in the future, we will reattune yourself to that one. But this will do to create the pathways in your soul. And he holds his hands out for the greatsword, which Anscombe kind of sheepishly pulls off of his shoulder out of the scabbard and passes over to Tabernac. As Tabernac takes it, he sets it on the river rocks, and then he turns to Anscombe, and he says, that pouch I gave you, you need to blend it with a few droplets of your blood, and then scrape it along the blade of your sword. And Anscombe kind of blinks. Well, how much blood? Tabernac says, just a small cut will do. You don't have to bleed yourself. And Anscombe kind of sheepishly and shyly reaches down, and as he's about to cut his finger on the greatsword, Tabernac stops him. He grabs his hand and he says, never harm yourself with a weapon you will soulbind to. It stains it. And Anscombe says, okay.
And Lorna's thinking, I didn't know that either.
And so Anscombe like reaches to his belt and pulls out what is basically a dirk, and he runs it along his palm, and then he kind of pours out that pouch of Banasite on his hand, and he's
Yeah, stings.
And Tabernac says, well, yes. Now, just rub it together, get it nice and blended, and then spread it along the blade of your greatsword.
Blood paste.
Anscombe does so. And as he does, Tabernac nods and waits. And waits. And waits. And Anscombe's like standing there, blood dripping down from his hand to the floor, looking at the sword that has this red-blue... Just, it's not really a paste, it's mostly it's his blood, and then there's little blue particulate in it along this blade of this greatsword. It's a huge weapon. And Tabernac says, do you have a name for your weapon? And Anscombe blinks and says, I hadn't really given it much thought. Sekka gave it to me when I signed. Do I need one? And Tabernac says, it is to be a part of your soul, so you should create a connection with it. More than just as a tool. Anscombe thinks about it. All right. I'll name it Hardy. Tabernac just shrugs. But as soon as Anscombe says those words, you watch as all of the blood and the blue particulate along the blade suddenly seems to ignite in flame. Except the flame is bright blue. And it runs all the way down the entire blade, and then it's almost as if the blade itself is sinking into the stones, as if it's melting. And then it's gone. Completely gone. And Anscombe says, is Hardy gone? And Tabernac says, no, concentrate on your weapon. Anscombe does, and then he's almost caught by surprise as Harty the Greatsword whoosh, appears in his hands.
Lorna just claps like it's a magic show.
What? Anscombe is very surprised. Tabernac says, you have soulbound your first weapon. You will do the same process, though it will be much quicker. Any time you find a new weapon that you wish to soulbind. In the meantime, Harty, in the process, has become magical. And Anscombe is smiling wide. His tusks are like parted, and he says, that's amazing.
Magic's pretty cool, right? Lorna says from across the room.
Yes, it is. And you see he kind of like brandishes the greatsword and performs a quick windmill slice with it. And he says, it weighs like nothing now. And Tabernac says, it's a part of you. You are more accustomed to it now. Welcome to your new path. Now, I believe Illerad probably has some work for you. And Anscombe thinks about it for a second, and then the great sword vanishes into his hands, and he says, all right, I'm going to be playing with that a lot. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tabernac. And Tabernac kind of nods. And then Anscombe turns to you. Thank you so much.
Honestly, it was my pleasure. This has been so fun.
Well, I wouldn't have thought of trying to go... I mean, I always thought I'd just be a lunkhead that could swing a blade, but you kind of gave me the idea that I could be more, and I appreciate it.
Lorna just beams.
Alright. Illerad is probably going to kick my ass, so, thanks again.
And don't forget we have a skirmish later.
Alright. Oh, I can't wait to try some of this out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I have a new spell I can't wait to try. I'm not gonna tell you anything about it.
Oh, alright. Well, that's exciting. The rest of you all have a good day. And Anscombe climbs the stairs, leaving Tabernac, Halliwell, and Callie and yourself down by the stage. And you watch as Tabernac kind of reaches up, and the stage drops back down to how it was. And Halliwell just kind of is like tapping his chin, and he says, I don't mean to ask, but is there a risk of that arcane forge, burning something? Or something? And Tabernac says, it's not real fire, Halliwell. It's magical.
Halliwell.
And Halliwell says, I'm sorry, I just was concerned. It is your domain, obviously, you know. I'm going to go back to my studies. And he climbs the steps, and Callie is like looking back and forth between Tabernac and yourself, and she says, I didn't know that he talked to you about that.
About what?
I mean, I'm not that close with Anscombe, but he's always kind of struck me as a little bit glum. And then...
Glum?
Yeah. And then here he comes and talking to you, and I swear it's like he's beaming.
I've never really got the impression that he was glum.
Callie kind of narrows her eyes at you. And then she folds her arms.
Lorna looks innocent.
So have you climbed that tree yet, as we talked about?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about, she says as she begins walking back to her desk.
No, come back. And you feel like a mage hand tugging on your robe as she chases you.
It's only 5 pounds, so Lorna just keeps walking, and she's like, I just
I
have so many
remember-
things to do. I have no idea what you're...
I remember after your first free agency, you talked about this towering half-orc and how he was cute, and I remember. And it was him, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
And she sits down at her desk with this mage hand still clinging to her clothes. She
Callie,
opens a book.
sits down at the table across from you, leaning forward over it, and says, spill the details. Have you smooched?
Lorna just looks pleadingly at Tabernac. It's still class time, right? It's only noon.
Tabernac, glances up and says, What?
Wait, we should be working right now, right?
Yes, go on. And he just looks back down at what he was doing.
So Lorna looks at Callie and she says, "You see, we gotta get back to work now."
Right after you confess. Have you kissed? I've got to know.
Her whole face is red. She just looks down at her books and she does not say a word.
Well, why is he glum when he's around just everybody else but not around you?
Maybe just glum around you.
Callie frowns. That was very mean of you.
Wasn't mean. You're teasing me. I'd tease you back.
Callie just kind of sits down. All right, fine. Keep your secrets.
Before Callie gets up, she'll just grab her by the sleeve and say, "No, we haven't done anything."
Why not?
There's a lot going on, you know?
No.
Well, you don't for some people, but I've got a lot of things that I kind of need to sort out first.
Well, get your shit sorted out, because that lad sees stars in his eyes when you're next to him. And the rest of the time he's about, he certainly does look glum and depressed, so maybe figure that shit out, eh?
Lorna just looks flustered as all hell.
Kelly, like, picks up the book she was working before and just sets it down on the table and says, think about it, and then goes back to her research.
Oh, man. And she's fucking right, because that's all Lorna's going to be thinking about for the rest of the day. She's gonna try to finish transcribing Blur into her spellbook.
You have plenty of time. Teaching Enscombe to be an Eldritch Knight only took the first 7 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So how far do I get?
You have 5 hours of class, so
oh shit,
you probably finish.
Okay, then yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm gonna add to my spellbook.
Okay, do that.
And then I'm gonna get dinner.
Okay.
Unless Callie's gonna harass me some more.
No, she doesn't harass you anymore.
Because I answered her question.
Yes. That's all it takes sometimes.
Being
right.
honest? No,
yes.
Thanks.
Crazy. Alright, so you finally, after handling class, you go down to get dinner. Are you hoping to run into anybody, or are you trying to eat quickly and get out?
She wants to eat with her friends. Build up a good mood amongst them all before they go to their skirmish.
Okay. Simple enough. You find them. It's the regular let-out time for class, and you see that everyone is there. In this case, I believe that your team... Skolna, Tier, Anscombe, and Sagona. That's not Sagona. Sagona. Alright. As you're eating dinner, let me go ahead and roll and see if it's better than breakfast. But I doubt it.
Lorna encourages them all to have clava. Good for you. Hold still.
Tier's like, I don't want any clava.
I don't really care what you want. You're gonna drink it because we're gonna fight, and it's gonna keep you on your toes.
Why are you so pushy today?
Because I want to win. I took a rock to the forehead last time, and I lost.
Tier's looking a little worn out.
Bad night?
No. It's a long story.
She just puts her chin in her hands and looks at him.
Alright, I had to try and find a companion, and I couldn't find one.
A companion?
An animal companion. A beast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a Tinder companion. Right, okay.
Oh, that's much easier to find.
Sure it is. For ranger things?
Aye.
Is this a requirement, or is this something you personally sought out?
It's my course. It's the path that I've chosen to take, is to grow with an animal companion, but I don't have one, and I could not find one that was willing to work with me.
So you saw my relationship with Requiem and you got a little jealous. Is that what this is?
Requiem's a ghost.
He's a dog. Ghost. Ghost of a dog. He's a good boy. She pets his head.
He's dead. I mean, it's not... No, I wasn't jealous of Requiem.
Okay.
Don't take it personal, alright?
I'm gonna.
I know.
So you looked for a companion and none of them wanted to bond with you? Is that what...
I perhaps didn't handle it the best.
Okay. Well, why do you think it went that way?
I don't know. I mean, I was walking around the Skywood trying to find anything that I would be willing to work with, and everything was just so hostile. I couldn't get anything to give me the time of day.
Do you have an idea on the type of animal you vibe with, like that suits you, that you get excited about working with?
I thought I did.
Like,
Something quick, something, that we could work together to handle things with. Something like a wolf or a fox or a coyote or something like that. Something small that I could work up with, but he actually looks really sad about it.
do you feel like this lack of success has kind of put you out? Like, it's a failure for you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm watching Kaylin talk about portals and shit, and I'm over here, I can't find a dog that'll give me the time of day. It really puts things into a sense of perspective.
Well, I think you might be approaching this the wrong way. You're kind of thinking about finding a companion in the sense of utility and combat prowess, but this is something that you're going to bond to. It means more than that.
Right, but there's like a time crunch, right? Like I need to find it right away.
There isn't.
What
When
do you
you're
mean?
forcing something like this, it's not going to work.
Well, I have to. The fall festival's in 2 days.
I think you need to relax. And I know that's easier said than done, but the fact that you're putting so much emphasis on this is likely not helping you at all.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, it's not amazing. It's a 13.
It's not great. You see Tier is frustrated and like he knows you're right, but he doesn't like it. And it's making him feel bitter. Also, I decided to go back to my roots. I've been training with a bow a lot, but it's not really what I'm good with.
What are you good with?
Pirate,
Cannon?
cutlasses and...
Oh,
No!
right.
I can't carry a cannon around with me, Lorna.
Well, you can if you did a few more push-ups.
No, I don't even think Einskim over here can handle a cannon.
He could. He's magic now.
What? And Enscom has like his face down in his stew, and he just says, "Yeah."
I taught him a couple spells today.
And Tyr just, fucking of course, everyone else getting it easy.
It's not easy, Tyr. He worked really hard.
I'm just bitter. I'm sure you did. Enscom just kind of shrugs and says, "No hard feelings," as he's eating stew.
I know we have this skirmish coming up, but I think... How much time does she think she has before they have to go and do that? It's like right after dinner, an hour.
It was right. You had originally planned for it to be right after dinner, so
Okay.
you have like 20 minutes.
How about after we take a walk? You can just relax. Focus on something else.
This is really weird coming from you.
I'll have to turn tables.
Alright. After the skirmish. Yeah, I could use a walk.
Okay.
He just goes back to eating his own stew. And as all that is happening, Sagona is like has been watching all this happen. And she looks over at you. Taught Enscom magic, huh?
Yeah, he honestly had an affinity for it. It suits him.
Cool. And she just kind of ate some more stew. You can roll me an insight check if you want.
I'm gonna. God damn it. Another 13.
There's a eye of mischief around Sigona's face that you're not sure what it is.
Did you learn anything cool today, Sagona?
She shrugs. Maybe.
Any magic?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to have like a one-on-one study magic with me too?
I don't think my style of magic will go along with your style of magic, Lorna. No offense.
You'd be surprised the synergy some things have together. Opposites attract and all that.
Let's just say, whoever we're skirmishing, if they group up, me and Near have a word for them.
I hope they do. Lorna looks a little intimidated, but very pleased.
What's your passive perception?
15.
You catch little hints of blue dancing across the table near Sigona's left hand, and you glance over and you just see little arcs of lightning just dancing between her fingertips.
How about you, Skalna? Good day?
She nods.
New stuff? Are you gonna unleash in this fight?
She kind of shrugs. And then she tilts her head and says, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, it looks like we all have something extra to bring to the table this time. We're not gonna lose. Not this time.
There's like a group nod of affirmation. And then suddenly Anscombe says, I have a question. That spell that we inscribed, Color Spray, it's based on how hardy they are, but they don't have a chance of, like, of resisting it if they're so weak, if you know what I mean.
Or?
So do I just try it right off the bat, or do I wait till they're a little beat up?
You gotta wear them down for that. I made a gamble the last time we fought with Nore, where I tried to put her to sleep. It would have been a lot easier if she'd been roughed up a little bit first. I was hoping that I could take her out fast, and I failed.
Okay, so maybe whack them a couple times and then they call her.
Give them the spray. Spray all over them.
I'm gonna call it the razzle dazzle because it's all about. I saw it. It's like brilliant colors. All it's so bright. It's blinding.
Yes.
Simple enough.
Give them a few whacks and then spray.
Whack and spray. I can do that.
Yeah, I bet you can.
There's like a group wince around the table, and Anscombe says, "What? You all laugh when Tier says that sort of joke? What the hell?"
I guess
Tier
it's not
just
funny
like
when it comes to me.
Tier like pats on his shoulder. It's all right. You'll get the habit. Fucking double standards. And then he eats more stew.
She makes sure that Tier drinks some clava because he was putting up a fuss about it before.
He is resistant. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion. Or intimidation, I guess.
I'll make it worth your while. Oh my god, 12.
Tier drinks some of it.
Do I have to bribe you?
You tried.
Do I have to bribe you with better things?
I just don't really like it, alright? Just fucking lay off.
I just want to win really badly.
And we will. You don't need me to drink this sludge for me to win.
That's not sludge. You bad taste.
The texture's disgusting.
You're disgusting.
She's right on this one. This shit's delicious. And Tier's like, it's drinking mud.
Rangers liked mud.
Not in our mouths. To that, the whole table laughs. as you finish eating dinner, it is time to go talk to Persh about your skirmish. So, as you all finish, and most of you have advantage on initiative, you head out to Persh, who's at the front desk, and he looks up and he says, "Hey, for your skirmish?"
Yeah,
all
that's right.
Let's see who we have on the table. Roll me a d10.
D10. 9.
The first to enter the room is the pale tiefling with sawed-off horns.
Yeah.
As Lilith enters the room. Roll me a d10.
Yeah, Lorna looks a little scared and a little excited. She looks like she has to pee, I guess. 2.
Next is someone you don't recognize. A dwarf.
That isn't Sagona.
It is not Sagona, no.
Brain blast.
It is a dwarf wearing plate armor, who enters the room behind Lilith.
What the fuck is that? Is he plate armor in the holy sense? Does he have a symbol visible?
No.
Okay. Weird. She'll nudge Anscombe. Do you know who that is?
That's Carver. He's a new sorcerer student.
And she just eyes the plate and she says, "What?"
Dwarf. And he shrugs.
All right.
They're born in armor. It's whatever.
Lorna looks at Sagona to confirm or deny.
She looks over in her full plate mail and just says, "What?"
Yeah, you're right, Anscombe. You're probably right.
Mm-hmm. Roll me a d10.
Jeez. 3.
Oh.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Is it?
Yeah.
In a I'm gonna lose kind of way?
No, maybe. Who knows? The pale...
Is that dog?
is Dog, the warlock.
Ah, it's Dog!
She makes an appearance as she enters the room.
Fuck. I didn't know that's what she looked like. She's creepy as hell.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Ooh. This team we're gonna face has a serious vitamin D deficiency, apparently.
Roll me another d10, please.
6.
Okay. A drow enters the room.
Oh shit! Oh shit! It's Taunus.
It is Taunus. You've never
Lorna
met...
sees a drow and she's like triggered.
You've never seen this person before. You might have glanced her once or twice in the mess hall, but you never really got a good look. She's wearing what is basically a form-fit leather outfit that's almost... it's a little more complicated than you'd expect. And you see that she's wearing leather gauntlets that have these really large gems on each of her knuckles as she looks around at all of you. Last, I need one more d10.
This is a very spicy party. 1.
I need a d2.
1.
Okay. That's super. That's simple enough. The last party member is Sabratha.
Oh boy. This is a very evil party.
It's certainly a flavor. Okay, so let me hold on a second here as I prepare this encounter. We got Taunus. We got Dog. We have Carver. We have Lilith.
This is the true definition of girl boss minus that dwarf.
Okay. Alrighty then. As the team assembles, Persh is kind of looking between the two teams, and he says, "Alright, captains, step up. Why is your token not tokened? You fucking fuck."
I choose to believe Persh said that out loud.
No, he did not. There. Team captains, please approach.
Who's the team captain on there? Thinking,
That would be Lilith.
oh boy.
Now you know the rules. No brutal violence. No trying to kill each other. This is to knock out
Lorna
our
coughs.
unconscious. Any attempts to execute will result in instant banishment from the academy. We are here to learn and train. And Lilith, like, nods at you. You notice Lilith is not wearing the typical Marigard leathers anymore. She's wearing what looks like silver scale mail. It has the Marigard paisley along the edges, but it is higher quality than the last time you saw her.
Lorna will look her over and say, "You look good."
Nice.
Oh, I'm scared. As she eyes the armor, compliments Lilith, she flexes her prosthetic and her mage armor goes up.
Yeah, so it like all across you. She says, "Not bad.
Doing my best.
Let's see how it holds up."
Yes, we will. As she turns to leave, can Lorna just eye her weapons real quick?
Whose?
See what Lilith specifically, what she's sporting.
Across her back, she has a longbow. At her belt, you see there is a slew of hilts. The longest one appears to be a rapier. You see next to that is a shorter weapon, and then on the other side of the belt are a number of daggers.
Yeah, so Lorna's looking over Lilith and she's thinking she'd be a bad target for my new spell because she could just replace whatever I break.
Probably.
Yeah, and she's gonna look over the rest of the party, kind of gauge there before the barrier cuts them in half.
Well, you're not even in the training room yet.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, she's gonna look over.
You can roll
each one of
investigation
them
if you want.
to see kind of what stabbies they got, if they have any stabbies. 15.
The cleric, Sabratha, has a very wicked looking, almost like a, it's like a scimitar but shorter. It's got a very serrated edge to it. It looks like a dirk, but one-sided. It looks scary. You see that Taunus, the drow, you don't see any obvious weapons on her. You see her gauntlets kind of gleam, and your natural arcana makes you think that there is something magical about them.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is.
She's like, I couldn't do anything to those because my spell can only affect mundane things.
The dwarf is wearing half plate armor and has a battle axe on his hip.
And dog?
Dog. So you see Dog has a very long and slender rapier in one hand, and you see that she kind of has slung over her shoulder a very spindly and narrow staff.
Okay. She's gonna go for that dwarf.
Okay.
Is what she's planning. She's gonna ruin his armor.
As the parties are getting ready to head in, the dwarf, who you've never spoken to or heard from before, turns, looks at everyone and says, "Now I want a fair fight, alright, everyone? This'll be a good time for all."
Lorna just blinks. Yeah. Right.
"I like your style, lads." And he just marches into the training room.
She, like, looks at her team like, does anyone know who this person is?
It's a group of headsshakes.
Okay.
No one seems to know who he is.
Good attitude, but...
Skolna kind of kneels down next to you, and she says, "Sorcerer student, quiet. Most of the time."
Quiet.
She nods.
Interesting.
I think it's a face.
Oh, bravado.
As the two parties head into the training room, Anscombe is excited as
Uh-huh.
everyone heads in. He says, "All right, look, everyone, ready?" And everyone's like
Oh, wait,
glances
well,
over.
don't show the other party. Don't do it until the thing goes up because they don't know you can do magic.
Oh, all right.
You gotta
And
keep
his
things close to
shoulders
the
kind of
chest.
slump, and
No, but think of how cool it's gonna be when they're like, "Oh shit, he can do magic." It's gonna be a huge surprise.
you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of is like looking at the interaction, like okay. And as the sand curtain climbs, you have preparations to make.
Yeah. And then she'll look at Ansem and say, "Okay, go."
And then he, ha ha, and the great sword whoosh, appears in his
Yeah.
hands. And Sagona says, "Well, fuck me."
Yeah, look at that.
And
Lorna's just giddy and clapping.
as he brandishes the great sword and flourishes it, the soul binding seems to have had an effect on the greatsword. It does still look like the same greatsword that Sekka made him, but it almost streaks blue energy behind it as he passes it through the air, as if just remnants of the Banasite magic that flowed through it. And he's very excited as he says, "Right, okay, we should actually prepare.
Yeah. So you remember what you learned today?
Yeah, where do you want? I can make cover."
Yes.
And Skolna
Converse with Skolna on that.
Skolna smiles at him, and she
Hmm.
just kind of walks over to him, and you hear her say, "We're gonna be good friends." Tier looks at you, Lorna, and he says, "As I said, I'm going to be much closer up this time. I still can use my bow, but really, I'm much better hands-on."
You need to follow what feels right.
Right. So I realize you're the team captain. I just want to let you know that's what my focus is.
Understood.
So, you just let me know where you want me, and I'll be there.
Well, I'm hoping, and she'll look over at Anscombe, that he's gonna keep Lilith occupied. They kind of have a thing, you know. Um,
You watch as Anscombe's like holding his hands up and doing the somatics, and just a huge pile of earth just.
Lorna looks so goddamn proud of him. She's just beaming as she watches this happen.
You're watching as he makes two big walls. Each one is like 10 feet high, and Skolna's like guiding him, and you see that there's actually like a terrace on the second one, so that Skolna immediately climbs up onto it. And then he continues. So,
So she'll look at Tyr and say, "So that dwarf sorcerer, he's kind of a wild card. He's in plate, but I'm planning on taking care of that, or at least trying to. Maybe get up in his face and keep him distracted so he's not letting off some big spells."
oh, all right, that's easy enough. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I don't really know much about the others. There's Drow, uh, and Dog. I know Dog, she's a warlock.
What does Dog do? Do you know? I haven't
She's
seen
got
her.
this she's got this kind of dead thing going on, so it makes me think shadowy nonsense.
Okay. And you see he's like kind of scratching his chin, and Sagona says, "I can handle her. No problem.
Yeah?
If they
Do
group
you know?
up,
Right.
I'm going to hit them with the biggest thing I've got."
It'll be great. Um, do you know anything about that Dragonborn? I don't think I've ever seen her.
Yeah, she's another cleric.
Okay.
She's kind of a bitch.
Okay.
She's quick. And where I focus on lightning and water, she focuses on fire. So,
I see. Well, water is always going to be stronger than fire, isn't it?
it's not really like that.
Shush. I'm a wizard, I know what I'm talking about.
Like, it's sure in nature, but And, look, if she hits you with a giant ball of fire, it's going to hurt.
Yes. Okay. Lorna will look at Skolna and say, "Do you think you can take down their cleric?"
Skona, like, is looking down at you from the high wall. Yeah.
Great. Okay, if they have no healing, they're not getting back up again.
Skolna kind of holds up a finger, and she climbs back down. And then she looks over at Anscombe and she says, "This bottleneck we talked about, don't step in it." And you watch as she meticulously begins to thread a very thin fishing line along these blocks of sand that Anscombe has pulled up.
Lorna claps her hands.
As
Yes.
she sets a trap.
Yes. Bait him in?
Anscombe says, "We can do that. No problem. Lilith will come running if she ever gets the... I mean, yes, we can do that."
Just give her the middle finger. She'll come here and try to beat you up and then immediately explode. It'll be great. I actually don't know what this trap does, but I'm assuming it makes her explode.
Skolna just holds up a dagger.
Okay. Sharp.
She nods.
Never mind, it does not make her explode.
And she shakes her head.
Maybe with blood.
Skolna kind of winces and she says, "I hope not. I don't want to be banished." And then she climbs up onto the wall
You
again.
see accidents happen in here all the time, probably. Like, what's one almost slaying, you know? She says defensively.
Anscombe points to this wall that he's set up here, and he says, "We can use this to try and draw them in, you know? Just to get them to come to us." And then, Sagona, I know you're talking about dropping some big bomb or whatever. I don't know what your plan is, but if you're back behind that other cover there, you'll be able to see them. So, and Sagona just, like, nods and says, "No problem. Perfect." And then Tier and Anscombe look at you.
Yeah, shit. I- She kind of moves back like 30 feet, and she's like, huh?
Anscombe looks at you and says, "You should probably hug some cover."
Why don't you just give me a little block right here?
Okay. And he
The longer
again
it takes for somebody to get
points.
to me, the better.
You're right. He kind of holds his hand up and creates a couple blocks.
And Lorna's gonna peek out from behind her cover, and she's gonna look at Anscombe and say, "You are so goddamn cool."
It's your fault. And as that happens, one moment, please.
Oh shit. Everyone's got so many new toys to play with.
They do. Everyone's very excited about them. All right. Speaking of which, it is at this moment, as we ready ourselves for battle, let me go ahead and get the wall down. As the wall drops, I'm trying to delete it and it's not deleting. There we go. As the wall drops, you see the layout they have created is a little similar, but with not walls of sand, but palisade shields.
Oh, that's cool.
Each one is about 5 feet high, and you see that some of them cannot take full cover behind them. Some of them can, but they have to duck down to actually hide behind them. And as the fight begins, I need your party to roll initiative, please.
Everybody's got an advantage except probably Tier.
It's true.
Oh, so good, Lorna.
Tier does not have advantage. He rolled an 8. Skolna has advantage whether she drinks it or not. And Anscombe. There's so many dice. Okay. First up is Dog.
Oh boy.
Dog, who dips out from behind the cover, looks at who she can see, and really all she can see is Anscombe and Tier. She will move here. Why is the music so crazy loud? Goodness gracious. And is going to raise that long, slender blade, and as she does, just a ball of black energy flies out of it in an Eldritch Blast. And she rolls a natural 1.
Yes!
The black energy of the Eldritch Blast just into the ground. And then she looks up at Anscombe and Tier, and you hear her say, "Don't judge me, I'm nervous." And then she runs back behind the wall.
Aww. Now Lorna feels bad for judging her because she was giggling behind her cover.
It's now Skolna's turn. Skolna, with her orders to take care of the cleric, she peeks up over the cover. I'm going to give her a perception check to see if she can see Sabratha. Oh my god, Skolna rolled a natural 1.
Nope.
So she does not see Sabratha, but she will drop down and she will fire her
Yeah, she can
short
always
bow
kill Dog.
at Dog. It is advantage, which will certainly hit. It will actually. It'll only just hit. It just hits her AC. Okay. You watch as this arrow into Dog, and it's like there's this gray barrier that, as false life soaks the damage, mostly. We're higher level now, my friends. Things got a little more complicated. Skolna is then going to dip back and runs over by Tier. And she, as a bonus action, she flicks a middle finger up at Lilith and uses her cunning action Help to give it someone and to go to Lilith.
Yeah, tiefling on tiefling violence.
It's now your turn.
Oh shit. Lorna's like, oh god, fuck. Can she see anybody from this distance? Like how?
Roll perception.
Who's peeking out above? Perception. A natural 1.
You can't see shit.
No, it's all sand and palisades.
You can either wait until things develop, or you can move.
Lorna is going to... I think she's going to try to hide as her action.
Okay, roll stealth.
+0. Okay, let's see. You have to be really stupid not to see her. She rolled a 9.
Okay, you do your best to hide.
She has no idea that her butt is sticking out the back.
Yeah. You're not well hidden, but you're hiding. Okay.
She has cover, at the very least.
It is now Taunus's turn.
Oh boy.
Okay. One moment. Okay. Taunus uses a bonus action that none of you can see. And then she surges forward. I'm going to give her a perception check to spot this trap.
I'm supposed to be the dumb fighter to run into the trap, not the artificer.
She does not spot the trap.
Yeah.
She runs here. I'm going to roll a dex save for her. She rolled a natural 7. You watch as this blade trap suddenly... and all these daggers just attached to wires that are mounted on springs suddenly slash out. And Taunus takes 10 points of slashing damage.
Yikes.
That means that this one is done. Now Taunus has her action. She's going to use her thunder gauntlets.
Uh-oh.
She runs up to Anscombe, and she doesn't have any weapons. She just kind of, as she runs up, she dips suddenly to the left and right, and then both of her fists, whoosh, and like a Superman punch, basically. And that's her attack as she throws both fists forward.
Is it a roll to hit or a save?
It's to hit.
Lorna yells out, "Anscombe, shield!" He learned that, right?
He learned shield.
Yeah, and she's not. She forgets that she's trying to hide when she yells that.
Fair enough. She
anyways.
was going to hit, but Anscombe hears you, and he's like, oh, and he throws his hands up, and basically just this white wall of what almost looks like ice just blocks the punches. And
Anscombe Frost.
And Taunus looks very confused.
Mm-hmm. That's my boy.
I didn't expect that, she says. It's now Anscombe's turn. And he says, sorry, new tricks. Right. And he brings the greatsword up in a rising slash. That's a 22 to hit.
Fuck yeah.
Which certainly hits. Okay. Anscombe deals 12 points of slashing damage.
Youch.
Taunus is really not looking good all of a sudden.
She ran into, like, the mouth of a shark.
Yes, she did. That's Anscombe's turn. Actually, I think Taunus has a reaction that she can use here. Let me check. Nothing that'll help. Okay. And Anscombe, he will do nothing else. That's his turn. He doesn't need to do anything else. Now, it's Lilith's turn.
Hey, baby.
Lilith will surge forward, only she's going to look with advantage because she saw the trap go off.
Already. But fail anyways, please.
Noted. Why did my music stop, though? I don't like that. Okay. She rolls a 13, which is not enough to see it. So she assumes the trap has gone off. She runs through it.
Yeah.
Triggering a dexterity saving throw. Lilith is much more dexterous, though, and she succeeds, which means she only takes half, which is going to be... She takes 4 points of slashing damage. As she runs up behind Taunus, she is darting forward, and she will try and perform a trip attack on our boy Anscombe here.
Does Anscombe still have the bonus AC for shield?
No, his turn was immediately afterwards.
Rat.
But she misses. She will.
Yes.
She will offhand attack. Try again.
Miss.
Hold on. Calm down.
Miss.
I should calm down. Oh, that's not that. That's a 25 to hit.
Oh shit.
This plus the superiority die.
Stop it. That's my green boy.
Anscombe takes 9 points of slashing damage and must make a strength saving throw. He's pretty good at these, turns out.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, he rolled a 22 to save. He's fine. But he does take the damage. As Lilith's blade, the high one, comes up high, and Anscombe easily parries it away, the dagger right into his thigh, and she tries
Ow.
to angle it so he tumbles, but he just shifts, his own armor pushing it out. And he says, "Nice try, but no." And now it's Sigona's turn. And you hear Sigona kind of, "This is gonna be awesome!" And she raises her holy symbol, and she channels divinity and casts Shatter.
I love her.
So it's a max damage Shatter. Hold on a minute.
Where's she centering it?
That is a good question. She sees Sabratha, and she wants...
hates her.
Yeah. So it's focused right there.
That's fine with me.
Okay, let me roll. I don't have to roll damage. They need to make con saves.
Carver, Rock of the Arm.
Carver, Rock of the Arm.
That's amazing.
Sabratha's con save. That's not great. DC 15. She rolled a 4. Carver's. His con's really good. He's a dwarf.
And a sorcerer.
And a sorcerer. But he rolled a natural 1.
Yeah.
So they both rolled a 6.
I'm nuked.
They both immediately take 24 points of lightning damage.
Holy
or thunder
shit.
damage. And the cover that they were behind is
Probably
destroyed.
decimated, yeah.
As this shatter, the entire room vibrates with the echoing sound. Sabratha, taking 24, is barely standing.
Yeah.
Carver is a little better off, but still really bad.
That's sorcerer down.
And Sigona, I don't believe she has a bonus action she can do. No, but she will run over here in melee with Lilith. Shield and Warhammer out. It is now Carver's turn, and you hear him say, "Blimey, that's smart!" I need to delete the Shatter template, which did look cool, but it's over. He is going... What the fuck is he going to do? He was not expecting to just get...
Obliterated.
Yeah, that was news. This is really inappropriate music for this. Hold on. Okay. Where's my combat list? I swear. First time.
And I swear.
There we go. Alright. He... Fuck, dude. He's... He's basically kind of screwed. He's going to bonus action drink a potion. 2d4 plus 2. He heals for 7. He's then going to run his full movement speed to here, to this side of the cover. That trap is gone.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Thank you for reminding me. And as he gets there, he is going to try and... he's going to Witch Bolt at Sigona.
How dare he?
It's a spell attack. Let's see how well he rolls. That's a 23 to hit. Yeah.
Shit!
He's now concentrating on Witch Bolt, and Sigona takes 4 points of lightning damage. Alright. That is his turn. He's bonus action, action. That's all he's got. It's now Tierre's turn. Tierre is going to surge up, and he wants to overwhelm Lilith.
Fair.
So he's going to make... First, he's going to set his hunter's mark on Lilith's head. And then he's going to make a short sword attack. Which hits with a dirty 20.
Yeah.
Dealing that plus a d6. Holy guacamole. He deals 15 points of damage with that first hit. which is the most he's done so far. And then he will 2-weapon fighting attack again with the short sword in his offhand. Which, because he has 2-weapon fighting, he gets to add his modifier to, which hits for the 22. I think Lilith might be about to go down. Okay, that was the noise. 10 points of slashing damage. No, she's still up.
Damn it. God, so close.
It's now the cleric's turn. Sabratha.
Ah, damn it. I was hoping to intervene before she could heal, but...
Afraid not. She will run forward, and she will cast Aid.
Fuck her.
So okay, so dog gets 5, she gets 5, and her maximum increases by 5. Carver. Taunus. Lilith. And dog. That was her big... That was what she's got. Yeah. Next. It's now dog's turn. Dog is going to... Oh. She's going to use Pact Magic. She runs up. She darts into melee with everyone else. And she casts Arms of Hadar.
Oh boy.
You see, watches these black tendrils, these tentacles lash out to Sigona, Anscombe, Tier, and Sigona again, I guess, because I'm an umpty. And they all need to make strength saving throws. Sigona. Tier. Anscombe. Oh no. Anscombe and Sigona fail. Tier succeeds. Tier has no strength, and those two have a ton of it, and they both... Oh, man. Okay.
Shit.
Okay, those two cannot take reactions, and they each take 3d6 necrotic. They each take 11 points of necrotic damage.
Ouch.
Tier takes half.
Shit.
And then, I believe that's dog's... That's her action.
How dare they level the playing field.
I know, right? Now it's Skolna's turn.
Come on, Skolna.
Skolna will dart over here. And she is going to... On the way over, she will cunning action hide. Allow me a moment to roll stealth for her. She's targeting the cleric. Okay, that's a 21. Let me roll Sabratha's perception, but I don't think it stands a chance. No. It's close, but no. Skolna then will emerge and attack Sabratha. With advantage. Natural 20.
Yeah?
Yeah, she crits.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 9 plus 12 plus 9.
Good night.
That's 30 points of damage. As Skolna just emerges from behind this rock wall, she and throws a dagger, and it right into Sabratha's clavicle, and she is immediately knocked down and is unconscious. No, not dead. Gosh dang it. Okay. Sabratha is unconscious. Next. Skolna is now aware... Hang on. Skolna is now aware that she is within melee with Taunus. And she's used her action and bonus action. So she will just stay there. But she will move right here.
Oh. Damn it, Skolna.
She is providing flanking. It's now your turn.
Okay.
Lorna, seeing like the whole clusterfuck up there is just
It's
okay.
dense.
Yeah, so she gets on top of her cover
Uh-huh.
to get a good vantage point, and ooh, sh- risky gamble here ish. She is going to cast Ice Knife at level 2, but not on someone, right here.
Okay.
And it would be a D10 to whoever it hit, but anything within 5 feet of the impact point takes 2d6 cold damage, or 3d6 since I'm casting it at the second level.
Okay, so they have to make dex saves.
They don't hit or miss, the shard explodes. You're right, sorry. It is a dex saving throw.
You don't get damage for free, darling. I'm sorry. Okay, one moment here. I'm pulling up all their character sheets. Skullna's dex save.
Yeah, unfortunately, Skullna's right there, but she is also a rogue.
She does not have evasion. And
I
she
know, but she's
fails
still
with a
a rogue.
9.
God damn it, Skullna!
Carver.
I'm just gonna feel so bad.
Carver, what's your DC?
15.
Carver succeeds with a 16.
God damn it.
Lilith.
Still half.
Lilith fails with a 14. Dog. Man, this really hits like everybody here.
I know.
Dog fails with an 8. And lastly, Taunus. Fails with a 6. Go ahead and roll damage.
So it is a Saver Suck, so Carver's not going to take any damage. But
Okay.
everybody else is going to get... Sorry, Skullna. 3d6. God, not great. 8.
8 points of cold damage. Is Skullna resistant to cold damage?
She's a tiefling.
Yes. She's resistant to fire. There are different kinds of tieflings. Taunus. Lilith. Dog. And Carver succeeded, so he doesn't take any.
Yes, they just take any.
Anything else on your turn?
Oh, well, Lorna sees that work, and she says, sorry, Skullna! And she's going to get back down. to
Okay.
Get some proper... Actually, she's going to get down over here to get some proper cover. And I don't think I have any bonus actions that are worth anything. No. That's it. That's my turn.
Okay. One moment, please.
No.
What? No, calm down.
Shush.
She is... There's a problem. I need to real quickly fix it 1 second. Let's take a quick second here. Collections. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it didn't collect these, but it just didn't. Alright. Taunus, who is up next after you. She is going to use her Thunder Gauntlets against Skullna. That is a 23 to hit, which hits.
Ouch.
Skullna's going to take some thunder damage from this attack. Skullna takes 11 points of thunder damage as both of these fists slam into her, and you hear a resounding boom across the entire room. Then Taunus will, as a bonus action... What is this? Oh. She gains temporary hit points as you watch as her armor suddenly, parts that were damaged by the ice repair themselves. and she gains 3 temporary hit points. Which doesn't make a huge difference, but it helps. Alright, it's now Anscom's turn. Alright. Anscom has Taunus in front of him who's causing a problem, but he also has Lilith very low.
Almost down.
Who would let Anscom focus?
Lilith.
Okay.
V for Vendetta.
Oh, hold on. Anscom looks back at you and then realizes you're behind cover, and he says, they were pretty beat up, right?
They're so beat up, do it!
And he casts Color Spray.
Yes!
And he's going to cast it so that it does hit Taunus. Even though I can't get the fucking template to do that. There we go.
And Skolna? Or just barely miss?
It will just barely miss.
Yes!
Okay, so I need to roll 60-10. He rolled pretty good. Okay, so Lilith, it goes from lowest HP to highest. Lilith has... Fuck. Not much. Lilith has 4 hit points. Okay, so Lilith is blind. Taunus has 8 hit points. Taunus is blind. Dog has 15 hit points. 4 is 12. It only just doesn't blind Dog.
Damn.
And that's the end of the Color Spray. But Lilith and Taunus are both blind.
Yeah.
Hold on a second here. The end of your next turn. So, Anscom has blinded them, and then he will action surge.
I love him.
As he action surges, he's then going to attack with his great sword on Lilith with his advantage. Yeah, that hits. Lilith is knocked unconscious.
Aw, poor Lilith.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, he cannot roll too little to not knock her unconscious. And then Anscom will push forward up into Dog's face, and he will bonus action Second Wind.
Just before Lilith's turn. Nice.
Anscom heals for 7. And that is his turn. Big turn for him. Lilith is unconscious. Sigona. Sigona, who now has... Sigona has successfully unconsciousified the cleric that she hated. And so she's going to... yeah, she's going to do stuff to the cleric in front of her. The question
Warlock.
is, what stuff? Or, yeah, Warlock, sorry. What stuff is she going to do? I don't know.
Pop
Yes.
it.
She's going to inflict wounds.
Ooh, that's cool too.
Which the flavor for her is... It's basically a Warhammer strike that's empowered with lightning. But let me roll it. It's an attack. It's got a hit. She just crit with inflict wounds. That's
She's not gonna murder her, right?
She might.
Oh no.
Because inflict wounds does 3d10.
So 30 plus whatever you roll.
Yeah.
Oh
and-
my god.
Yeah, this might be a problem. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay, she rolled pretty low. I need to do some math. Dog's health. 46. Oh my god.
What?
If I had rolled 1 more damage, she would have died.
Like instant death.
Yeah. She took 45 points of damage from this inflict wounds.
Oh.
She had 46 hit points. Like, that's the threshold, is 46. You watch as Sigona raises her hammer, and you watch as the energy of Nier suddenly across its surface, and Dog whips around and says, "What's that?" And then the inflict wound slams into Dog, and she is knocked unconscious immediately by the horrible blow.
Super nerfed. Oh my god. This team needs to control themselves when it comes to damage output.
It's Sigona's like breathing heavily, and it's now Carver's turn.
Doesn't look like she's dying, right?
No, she's just unconscious. It doesn't.
Okay.
This is the training room. Unless you deal literally critical damage in one hit, that would instantly kill you. You don't die here. Carver says, "Right, all right, that's enough. Time to put things in my own hands. Show them how the Rock of the Arm does it." And as he raises his battle axe, he casts Shatter.
Oh shit.
Which
They gonna kill Lilith?
Lilith cannot be killed in the training room. She will take a failed death save, but she's already stabilized. Let me make a Constitution save for all these boys. Anscombe. Anscombe succeeds. Tier. Tier fails. Sigona.
She's gonna be so pissed that a dwarf used that against her.
She succeeds. Yeah, that's kind of in flavor for her. Well, let's roll damage. 3d8. It's not quite. It's 22 points of thunder damage.
Oh my god, that's almost max.
Almost.
Jesus.
As this dwarven sorcerer raises his battle axe and the air splits with a Tier is almost immediately knocked unconscious.
Oh my
As
god.
Sigona and Anscombe both take half.
Good lord.
Yeah. Tier is unhappy with this. He sees that the fight is almost won, and he is going to... Well, what would you have us do? What is your orders for Tier?
He's gonna go up here and he's gonna let Taunus have it. He
Okay,
wanted to get in there, he's gonna get in there.
fair enough. Taunus is blind at the moment. He hits with a 19. Taunus cannot see it coming, so she cannot react. He will bonus action move the Hunter's Mark onto Taunus. And then roll damage. Okay, so he deals 10 points of damage, leaving Taunus with 1 hit point.
God damn it.
And he will offhand
He's
attack.
a two-weapon fight. Yes, baby!
Still at advantage because she's still blind. And then damage. Yeah, she's unconscious. Taunus falls. Next. Sabratha is unconscious. Dog is unconscious. Skolna.
Just standing right there with him.
Skolna looks at Carver, and she just smiles at him. I need to roll a wisdom save for Carver.
Oh shit.
Carver holds up his battle axe. All right. We gave it our all. You've bested us, so yield. And Skolna, flips the dagger back and forth between her hands. And that's the fight.
Oh shit.
As the fight ends and things calm down, the group kind of separates themselves from each other. Carver is going about the business of pulling his teammates to the side.
Dragging their corpses.
Anscombe helps. get Lilith over there as well. And over time, they all begin to heal. And as they awaken, you hear Dog say, "Damn. I was hoping maybe we could show them the light too." And Lilith looks at her and
creepy.
says, "That's fucking weird." But as all of that is happening, Anscombe looks at you and he says, "Alright. That was pretty fucking cool, right?"
Lorna is gonna run up and just jump on him. So you better catch me.
I mean, I'll roll athletics for him. He's
I
really
weigh
good
like
at that.
100 pounds.
Yeah, I think he needs to roll a 1 to fail this. He rolled a 13 plus 7.
Everything.
He catches you.
And she just, you look so cool casting magic. You should have done this to begin with. You were made for this. It was amazing.
As Anscombe is like smiling and like he looks extremely pleased with himself, and he says, "I think you're right. I think I should have planned on this from the beginning. 9 hells." And as he like sets you down, Sagona like approaches the two of you as Tier and Skolna also walk up, and Sagona says, "I don't know if any of you all noticed, but that was a fucking slaughter. We didn't lose a single person."
I didn't even get touched.
Skona looks at you and says, "I did."
But it's the wizard's not supposed to be up in the heat of things.
The wizard's not supposed to cast spells at me either.
Oh, and she's gonna go up to Skull and say, "I'm so sorry about that. I was planning on dropping that right in the middle of them, and then you moved right there, and I didn't. I'm sorry."
It's fine. I didn't even see you. It's fine. I'm just giving you a hard time.
That trap was really cool.
Yeah, it was. I've been thinking about that one for a couple days. And Tier is like, he's clearly injured, and the training room is slowly healing everybody. And as it's happening, he like looks around, and he says, "I think maybe we were handling this the wrong way earlier. Did you see how much fucking damage I was dealing up close? That was bananas."
You took Hana's down. She didn't even have a chance to know what hit her.
And I didn't even know where to hit her. That armor was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She like had these glowing gauntlets and shit, but it didn't matter. I've been practicing against bears, and it turns out bears are pretty, they're good opponents to practice your close quarters with. Anscombe turns and looks at him and says, "Yeah, Iller has a bear. Sometimes I can totally see that matching. I forget, not actually a bear. I'm trying to make him, never mind." And Tier just like pats him on the shoulder and says, "I get
He's
it."
doing his best. He's doing his best. And Sagona, that nuke you dropped on them,
She
Nigger
immediately
is
starts
fucking
giggling.
with you.
That was pretty awesome, right?
Like the other dwarf used the same kind of thing, but it was nowhere near as cool.
Like as you're talking, Sagona's like grinning and twirling her warhammer in her hand, and she says, "I know." I've been planning on that one all day.
And like, she'll lower her voice and say, "I don't even know why that other Claire bothers being here if you're in her class."
Sagona just kind of smirks at you and says, "Now you're just buttering me up.
So?
But don't stop. It was fucking excellent."
I mean, I think we should celebrate because this is our first real win.
Yeah. And as that happens, Lilith approaches. And you see that she's kind of swallowing her pride as she walks up, and she just says, "You all fought really well."
Lorna will step up and say, "Thank you." And she'll hold out her new hand because she hasn't really communicated with Lilith since she lost her old one.
Since you've
For a
met
shake.
since you've met Lilith, she has always been standoffish and just repugnant to you. But as she grasps your hand and shakes it, this is the first time she's looked at you and you felt respect.
And in the form of character growth that I'm sure Lorna is slowly going to achieve, she doesn't ruin it by saying something stupid. She just grins and shakes.
Good battle.
Agreed.
Then she looks at the rest of your group. Well, winners are buying us drinks, right?
Lorna will nod and say, winning captain will buy drinks.
Nice. She smiles at you. And then she turns and looks back at her group and says, Drinks on Lorna! Everyone to the Merry-Guard!
I think I got paid. And she'll kind of like grab Tier's wrist and look at the rest of the team and say, we'll meet you there.
I'm going to heal. Over the conversation, you all heal back to full. Thank fuck for that, right? As the training room patches you up.
He's gonna give Anscombe like 15 gold because she's not going with them immediately, just to make sure the drinks are sponsored until she arrives.
Oh, you can count on me. I'll make sure none of them order anything like crazy red scale whiskey or something like that.
I have the utmost faith in you to protect my money.
I have magic now. No problem. And he, like, the great sword, it vanishes. And he smiles at his hand and says, I'll never get used to that. Holy shit. All right, everyone follow me. And Anscombe leads the way out of the training room. Except for Tier looks at you and he says, all right, what'd you have in mind? A walk.
Yeah. How about the druid classroom?
All right.
Good memories
Sure.
there.
I'd agree with that. And as you head towards the druid classroom, let's go ahead and move the maps.
Whee! Look at all these people.
Everybody's here. Okay, one moment, please. As I try and collect everybody. And off they go. Tier is with you. As you make your way to Folly's classroom. It's easy enough to find. You remember where it is. Let me go ahead and pull that map up. And as Tier follows you, the door is unlocked. As you enter, you actually see Saskia and Folly are lounging by one of the large pink trees just near the entrance to this enormous glade, and she looks up at you as the both of you enter, and she says, "Oh, hey there.
Hi.
You here to hang out, or you just come to explore?
We're gonna take a walk.
Have a pleasant time."
She's gonna look at Tyr and say, I'm so glad that they're friends. It's very sweet.
Tyr kind of nods and says, "I agree. Could you imagine how boring it would be to be here by yourself all the time?"
I don't know if that's entirely true. Don't you spend all your time in the woods?
Well, look, when you put it like that. And as you are heading your way out, Folly says, "Now, you two be careful out there, all right? There's, it's dangerous and stuff sometimes."
Of course. We'll be on our utmost.
Good. Holler if you need a hand.
Of course.
And as the two druids kind of leave you to your business, you lead Tier off into Folly Sanctuary, this glade nestled in the Feywild that never seems to sleep. It always seems to be the same. You are muted?
Oh, sorry. I think she would walk for maybe like 5 minutes quietly or making casual conversation before they get like a little bit of away from the door and the two druids. And
all right, I will I'll take them out of the scene as they're not a part of it, and then let me pull Tier and Lorna.
so she would finally say, okay, now you're not behaving like yourself.
Well, yes I am.
I kind of what I mean is you've always been easygoing and content. I don't know. I don't like seeing you so frustrated.
I've had a rough week, I guess. Um, I've been having a hard time trying to get this down, honestly. Uh, I feel like I'm doing everything just slightly wrong, or almost good enough, but not quite cutting it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
And the instructor, Triss, has been really kind about it, but it's still. I see Kalen literally able to broach into other planes, and he's ragging on about this hag you all fought, and
Mm.
I, I just, I don't know when he got ahead of me, or maybe I made the wrong choice.
Are you worried that you're gonna get left behind?
No, it's just I've always kind of looked at him as competition, right? And I've always been a little bit better than him in most things, and then suddenly he's ahead of me, and I don't know when that happened.
I guess kind of like Anscombe today, he found his niche.
Yeah, he did. That was impressive. You did a number on him.
It was him. Like he had that potential. And he wasn't even sure he could go for it until he decided that he was brave enough to try. I guess what I'm trying to say is, what makes you want to go down this path you've chosen?
I don't know. I've always wanted. I've always wanted to have, you know, an animal companion of a kind because they're always there for you. They're always loyal. They'll teach you things that you would never think of just by you training them. And you know, I spent most of my life not having someone that I could consider that loyal, and then I learned that that was a possibility. And I may not be covered out for it, but I still wanted to try.
Yeah. I think I agree with you in wanting that kind of relationship with something or someone because I found that in my familiar. But there can be people like that in your life too. That even if this doesn't end up being the path that's right for you, you're not going to experience that kind of connection with people or someone.
He nods. I see what you're saying. It's frustrating.
Of course it is. And you feel like there's pressure to get it done and get it done quickly because of the fall festival.
Yeah, you're right about that. But that
Like
skirmish
if
today, I just wanted to say, you know, I've been practicing with a bow for all this time. And then suddenly I went back to my roots of using a blade, and it felt like I'd been deluding myself.
Right. So maybe you need to sit down and kind of re-examine why you want to take this path. And if it's truly the one that feels right for you, then I think you need to just keep at it. But if you want it for, I don't think the wrong reasons is the right word, but if you want it just, you know what I'm saying, right?
I think so. It's like I've made a promise with myself and I don't want to break it.
Yeah, but you can't let that hold you back because that just means you're keeping yourself from something that you excel at and really love.
Alright, I'll think about it. Not that I have a whole lot of time.
And maybe you were looking in the wrong place.
Yeah?
The Skywood's easy because you spent a lot of time there. That's where the Ranger's classroom is, but have you considered, and she kind of gestures around her, here, or maybe the Allen Forest, or close to
No.
the shore?
I had not at all, actually. Maybe I'll go for a walk. You know, see what I can find by myself.
You're Tridonian, right? Right?
Yeah?
Isn't your heart in the ocean?
You're not
Or at
wrong.
least near it?
Was that a god joke because of Sigona?
She shrugs.
Oh, you're almost as bad as Anscombe.
Oh, don't be mean. It's up to you whether you think I'm talking about being mean to me or being mean to Anscombe. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no reason that trying for a couple hours or a couple days in the sky would means that you're not cut out for it, you know? I had to go to the Shadowfell to find Requiem.
Do you think I could talk to Tabernac? You think he might have an idea?
That's not a bad idea. He has this item, Ocularum. Is that right?
I don't fucking know.
I'm asking the DM.
Yeah.
Yes, it's called an Ocularum. I picked from it, according to what felt right to me, and that's what led me to the Shadowfell. Maybe if we talk to Tabernac, we might get steered in the right direction.
Okay. It's not a
Do you
bad
want to
idea.
try that?
Yeah, I do.
Then let's
Thanks.
do it.
I mean, probably not right now. It's pretty late.
His time zones are a little weird, and I've woken him up at 4 in the morning many times.
Right, but I want to be in his good side, so maybe we'll handle this tomorrow.
Okay,
We do have drinks to go meet up with anyway, right?
it's also true. If it ends up being on a different plane, do you want to do this by yourself?
It depends.
I guess where makes sense.
Yeah.
How about I come with you to talk about the Ocularum with Tabernac, and then we decide from there.
Yeah. It's a plan. First thing tomorrow. Which means we're not getting super fucked up tonight, right?
No.
Alright. Thanks for giving me another perspective. Sometimes it's all you need, right?
Yeah. And you've been like that for me. Too many times to count. It's about time I returned the favor.
He smiles and winks at you.
I agree. Alright. Let's go meet him up.
Okay.
And as the two of you leave Folly Sanctuary and make your way toward the Merry Guard, that is where we will stop tonight's session.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I finally won something.
You won by a landslide. You crushed
It
it.
was awesome.
All right.
I
I'm-
barely contributed, but it was awesome.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yay!
And to all of our viewers, we love you. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.